Hey everyone, today I have these 2 cans of drinking water that were packed on September 11th, 1953. I'm going to be opening up one of them today and seeing what it looks like inside. I'm going to do some water tests. I have a whole bunch of water tests here. I'm going to test it for ammonia, which I doubt. I'll test it for nitrate, nitrite, which I also doubt. Iron is a good possibility in these cans. Also, I'm going to test for copper and lead, because these old cans here have these seals that are soldered, and solder back then usually contained lead. I'm going to see if any of it seeped into the water. I have this water test here, which tests for the pH, hardness, iron, copper, lead, nitrate, nitrate, and chlorine. So this one here, the only reason I'm using those test tube ones is to make sure this one is accurate here. So we have a side-by-side comparison. If they're both saying the same thing, it's obviously true. This is the first time I've ever used these things that you just dip. Usually I use the test tubes, which I think are way more accurate than these. But first, we're going to open this up. I'm using the can opener today because I want to see what the inside of the can looks like. I know usually when you drink something, this is how you'd go about opening it, like this. And you just punch a triangular hole through it, then the other side just to let the air in. But let's get a quick look at one of the cans. They are identical. So here we go. Emergency drinking water. Property, U.S. government. Boston, Massachusetts. Doesn't say anything else on the rest of the can. Nothing on the bottom. These are in perfect condition, not a speck of rust. So I'm thinking they're either iron or tin. For iron, they're in good condition. There's the date. They're both stamped with the exact same date. 9/11/53. The other can here, just to show, it is exactly the same. This is the one I'm opening up. Okay. Every time I have opened old cans of food, I always tell everyone it smells like rust, right? Now this water here, I am telling you, is certainly bad to drink. It is so cloudy in there. And when I smell it, wow, what is that? It smells like galvanization mixed with water. Really strong chemical smell. It is so bad. The smell of lead. Yeah, I'm telling you, this is really contaminated with lead. Let's get a close look. Yeah, just take a look at that. It is so cloudy. I'm thinking there's iron in there, probably lead, but we're going to take a bunch of tests on this. You would be crazy to drink this. This would definitely screw you up. I don't know if this is normal. There's a missing 1 inch of water from the top. That is either, I don't know if it was able to escape. I think it was just packaged like that. But we gotta start doing some tests with this. I have my dropper right here so I can fill up the test tubes without making a big mess. Usually these aquarium test kits here, you would just dip the tube, rinse that a few times in the aquarium, then you do your thing, right? Make sure the chemicals never get into the aquarium, but this is not an aquarium, so we're going to be doing this because we have a limited supply of water and I don't want to waste it. Just so you know, aquarium test, drinking water test, pool test, they're all exactly the same thing. They're just advertised for different things. They all have the exact same thing, like this is a drinking water test. Those there are for an aquarium. They are exactly the same test. Just to make sure, before making this video, I wanted to make sure this was accurate. I tested this. The lead, copper, and pH on this are completely accurate, and I know that because I took a bunch of lead and I took a bunch of pennies. I mixed it up in this thing, let it sit for an entire month, and it gave the water, lead, and copper poisoning. I did this just for a test, just to make sure it would work, and also to make sure the pH works. I added a bunch of baking soda in this, which rings up the pH water. If you add baking soda to any water, the pH will skyrocket. This here is number 10 on the scale, which is actually off of my scale. You would need a high pH test to do that. But I dipped it in there, it turned bright red. That proving the test works. So let's get down to this. Right here is a card from the Environmental Protection Agency telling you what is allowed in the water. Now I'm going to begin doing all these tests right here. This is an unused test. This is going to sit right here so we can compare it to the ones that change. This test right here, you're supposed to dip it in the water for 2 seconds and swirl it around. Okay, so this one's going to sit right here so we can see what changes. The results usually come out under a minute, and you can see one already changed. I wonder what that one is. Now this one right here, just so you can see my example, this is going to be for the copper test. I mean the pH test. This is 10 pH. Watch, dip it, turn red immediately, so you know the pH is working. This is going to sit right here with my pH test. So this right here is my own copper test. My own copper water that I made. Make sure they're all wet. Swirl it around, okay. Gonna put this off right there. Let those sit so we can compare. Put that off to the side. This right here is a test tube copper test. So I'm gonna start off with this. What I'm doing right now is I'm rinsing out the inside of this just to make sure I'm just getting the water so it's more accurate. This thing is brand new to begin with. It's never been used. So now I'm sucking up some water. I'm going to put it inside of the test tube here. Fill it up to the line. This dropper is perfect so you get the perfect amount of water. Now I'm going on, start filling up the next one here, which is ammonia. Ammonia is pretty much waste. Something going to the bathroom. That was what causes ammonia. Now I'm starting to fill up the nitrate. The next one I'm filling up is nitrite. Nitrate is good for plants to grow, and it doesn't really affect animals. The other one is very dangerous to animals. Now the last one on the end is the test tube pH test. All these tests here are up to date. Some of the boxes may be banged up because I was able to get these very cheap from a pet store because they were damaged during shipping, the boxes. But the tests themselves are in perfect condition. Now that all these are filled up, I am going to add the chemicals to the mix. The first one here, starting off with copper, is asking me to put 10 drops of the chemical in here and shake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These test tube tests, I've been doing these for probably 10 years now because I have aquariums, and this is supposed to be done every single month. Not the copper test, but the basic test for the aquarium. What I have here now is ammonia. Ammonia is asking me to put 10 drops of each bottle. First bottle here, 8 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the other bottle here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Put the cap on. Give it a shake. Before I'm doing this video here, I cleaned out all of these test tubes for best results with very clean drinking water. That is a surprise. This one's already turning green. That is not good at all. So now I'm shaking up the ones for the nitrate. So this one's requiring me to put 10 drops of each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other bottle. Give it a quick shake. I pre-shaked them before doing the video anyways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Give this one a quick shake. Already looking pretty good since it's yellow. Yellow means there's nothing wrong with it. This one here only has 1 bottle, and this one is asking me to put 5 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Give this one a shake. That one also looks perfect, blue. Some of these come out immediately. One's like the ammonia. It recommends you wait a few minutes. This one here is the pH test. This one's asking me to put only 3 drops of the chemical. 1, 2, 3. And I haven't even shaken it up yet, and I can already tell you there's high pH in that water. Yes, there is, because this is an immediate test. There's about 7.8 pH in that test. So, by now, all of these are developed, and I'm going to explain to you what they all mean. Very surprising to me. These tests here have shown themselves to be super accurate. Even though they've bled over to a little, but you can still tell what they mean. So you can tell, yeah, they really work, because that one you saw turn red immediately. This is the one that we're going to be using here. Okay, that bottom one fell off, but I can still see what that meant. That bottom one was the pH. And the pH here, it's saying, yeah, it says around 7.4. My other test there is saying around 7.8. So around there, it's higher on the scale. Neutral would be 7. And the next test here is total alkalinity. That one is coming up at around 80. The next one here is nitrate, which is saying 0. And the other test that I did with this is also saying 0, because you see you line it up. So that is accurate. The next one here is nitrate, which is showing 0 on this one. So that is pretty accurate too. Okay, the next one here is lead. How much lead is in it? Oh, wow. It's showing 20 parts per million on there. Yeah, I'm not drinking that. 20 parts per million. Definitely lead in the water. Next one is copper. Wow, I didn't think there'd be copper in this. Look at that. Copper is one right here. Yeah, it's pretty far up there between that 3 and the 10 plus. There's a lot of copper in this water. Okay, so the next one here is iron. Iron's not the worst for your health, but there is some iron in there. There's no chlorine. Hardness. It's not very hard. You'd consider this like soft water. It's around that 50 mark. So let's see how some of the other ones came out. Ammonia. That is nasty for drinking water. Around here, you don't want ammonia in your water. I have fish tanks with animals going to the bathroom constantly, and it's up here. So this is some nasty water. It's like polluted. Now this copper test, you don't do it like this. You have to take the cover off. Now this copper test, you look at this one from above, and it's showing about 0.75. I'd say it's between those two. So this is not very good. So 0.75, this is going by parts per million, 0.75. So There's a little difference between these two tests of what they're reading, but it's telling me there are some dangerous things in this water. And that is why this smells so bad. So now we're going to perform one more test. As soon as you're done with the test, you make sure the chemicals go down the sink, and you rinse out the test tubes very well before putting them near the aquarium again. And these tests here, if you decide to use these tests that you dip in the aquarium, never dip them directly into the aquarium. You take a cup of water from the aquarium and you dip them in that cup and dispose of the water in the cup to make sure this chemical never gets into the water. Now I'm going to put one drop of this water onto a microscope slide to see if there's anything in it. I doubt anything will be moving around in it because the water is just so toxic, but there might be something cool floating around in it. I'm being very careful not to touch the slide in the place that I'm going to be putting my drop. I'm going to get one drop of water, put it on the center of the slide, and that's all we need is that really small drop. Now I'm going to get my cover slip and put it on at an angle to make sure there's no water bubbles stuck in there. There we go, that came out nicely. If you put too much water, it's going to cause it to float. Are at 250 times zoomed in. You see lots and lots of these tiny black dots. But what are they? Let's zoom in even further. This is going to be 1,000 times. Kind of hard to focus in on them. Nothing is moving around. I'm slowly moving my focus trying to find something. Okay, now you see a few things moving around, but I'm pretty sure that's just like a light current in the drop of water, because it doesn't seem to be actually propelling itself. I think these are just particles floating in the water. But we can take a closer look at that bigger one. So let me focus that in the center so I can zoom in even further. Hopefully zooming in again isn't too much to see that. There is something there, definitely, but you see it's moving out of frame pretty quickly. Okay, I'm going to try to get this quickly. Now, is it even possible to see it? This is galvanization of some type, because this here has been removed from the top of the water can from a while, and now that it's dry, if I rub my finger across this, it leaves a residue on me. So that's what's in the water. This nasty residue coming off of the can. It's been mixing with this water for such a long time. It's just so nasty. My camera is perfectly clear. That is the water you're seeing. Well, you saw it here. There was high copper, high lead in this water, high ammonia. This is some pretty bad stuff, and this will happen with anything in a can that is that old. Canned food and all that stuff, I've opened in the past. I've said it smells like rust, that it is nasty. That is the reason why I will not taste anything from a can this old. It is polluted, and it's just dangerous to do. Nobody should ever eat from a can this old because there's so much toxic stuff leaking from the metal into the product. I get literally hundreds of comments telling me that I'm a wimp for not eating this stuff. You have got to be crazy to eat this stuff. Some of the things I've tried in the past have been dry. Like I ate canned fruit from the early 60s, but it was freeze-dried. That's what makes the difference. If it's dry, the can can't leak into it. That's what makes the whole difference. Hope this video was interesting. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment.